Okay, so it's 3:30 a.m. My house is cold. I have a blanket. We're good. I feel like a character from some movie. It's a cape now. So, I was recently asked, what do you do about the voice inside your head? Should you want to stop it? And because I couldn't sleep, this came to mind, and now I'm making a video because, wow, I've had some really interesting thoughts. So here it goes. I think everyone has a voice in their head, and I think the original design of this voice was to help us fix things on the fly. And I think most of us have gone wrong at some point because we've tied value judgments to it, and those value judgments are inaccurate, and they were never meant to be there in the first place. Feedback's really hard to get and to give in today's society, right? Like, nobody wants to be told that they did a poor job, or that this aspect of their speech was poor, or whatever. We don't want to do that. Heck, it's hard enough to be told, hey, your shoelace is undone, or your fly is down. But we're really grateful that someone told us that sooner rather than later. So anyways, I think that all of us have this internal dialogue or monologue going on all the time, and I think it's supposed to be there. And I think what has happened is we've tried to either tune it out or ignore it, or we tie judgment values to it. Value judgments. I can speak. It's 3 a.m. And I think that's where the tyranny of the voice comes in. That nasty, degrading, horrific tone kicks in because we've ignored it for so long. It's trying to find a way to be heard. I know. It's like we have multiple voices in our head. I'm not advocating that there are multiple people inside us, but subconsciously, I think that's what happens. Think about you. When you're ignored by someone you feel is important to you, after a while, your patience grows thin, and you change your behavior so that they pay attention. That behavior may show up in passive-aggressive slamming doors. It may show up in one-word texts. I'm fine. No, there's no problem. Why would you think that? There's all sorts of ways they can show up. And I think that our internal monologue has done that. It's there to help us change things on the fly. For example, when I sing, if I am flat, I can tell. And I know why I'm flat. I know the half a dozen to a dozen reasons that I could be singing flat. And if I pay attention to the fact that I'm flat, I can fix it like that. But I have to be paying attention. And I have to be listening to that voice inside my head. If I put that voice off long enough, it's going to get really mean really fast. And so what should just be, hey, you're flat, which will then trigger, am I breathing right? Am I getting enough air? Am I sitting up straight? All these things that could contribute to having a flat pitch. It's 3:30. I'm losing my train of thought. Right, so instead of triggering that, what a lot of us do, because we've been trying to ignore it so much, or we've tied value judgments to it, is the thought comes up, hey, you're singing flat. And instead of telling me, or using that as a trigger to fix it, like, oh, yeah, I guess I am. Should probably deal with that. Here's how I can do that. Instead of doing that, we instantly go to, oh, I'm a failure. I'm a horrible musician. I suck at singing. Why am I doing this? You know what? People are listening to me, and they probably heard that. In fact, I know they heard that, and they're judging me right now. And they are miserable because that was just, oh, God. And you know what happens when we do that? The thing that our voice is trying to help us fix, it gets worse really fast. So a flat note becomes a whole phrase that's flat, becomes the whole rest of the song is flat. In fact, I'm probably forgetting words because I'm freaking out so much. Does that ring true to anyone else? Like, I'm not going crazy here, am I? I mean, I could be. It's 3:30 a.m. and I'm making a video and I'm about to post it online. Could be crazy. Totally possible. But, like, do you see where I'm coming from? So, what's the first step to getting rid of that voice? Well, first step is recognizing it's never going to go away. That's kind of scary. It's a scary thought because most of our voices are scary mean. So the first step I would say is just recognize that everyone has this and it's supposed to be there. This is coming from me. You know, maybe scientifically we don't have proof for it, but that's really what I believe. So everyone's got this voice. You've got it. I've got it. They've got it. Whoever they are. That's step one. Step two is actually listen to it. Going back to the illustration of trying to get our best friend's attention and they're not paying attention to us, and so we start doing things to get their attention. What is the most disarming thing when we're being passive-aggressive or we are starting to punish someone for not paying attention to us? The most disarming thing is for them to actually pay attention to us, right? Like, all of a sudden, we have no reason to be a jerk. We may continue it for a minute because we're in the mood, but there's no reason for that. So step one, acknowledge it's there, and it's probably never going to go away. Step two is actually listen to it. What is my voice saying? What is going on up there in my head? Why am I thinking this? And I think you're going to find a couple things. One is you're going to find, I don't know why I use my thumb for one. One is you are going to find a statement of truth. Something that your brain is trying to get across to you. For example, that note was flat, man. That's just a statement. It's a fact. There is no judgment or value tied to that right now. It's just what it is. The second thing you're probably going to notice is there's some sort of a value that you're tying to it. Now, you can delve into that if you want and go, wow, where did that come from? Why do I think this way? Did something happen in my childhood? Did something happen in college? You can if you want. It's been very healing for me. But practically speaking, just recognize, I tied a value statement to that. I'm judging myself and my intrinsic value on this little thing. And when you acknowledge that it's there and you recognize that you're making a judgment or a value statement of some sort, determine whether or not that's true. Is it true that I'm a horrible singer because I made one flat pitch? No. Is that actually true? Is it true that this whole audience who voluntarily came to listen to me sing, is it true that they are all actively listening to judge me and laugh at me when I'm gone? No. Is it true that these people that I'm presenting to are going to laugh at me? Hopefully not. They're probably more interested in the content of your statement and what you have to say than how you deliver it. And quite frankly, human psychology is really cool. When you're in a room of people who are interested in what you have to present, they are going to actively look for the best in you. So for every negative judgment statement that your brain is making, I can guarantee you can go ask 5 people and get 5 positive statements that are genuine. Because, here's the secret to helping confront that. Even if you're like, no, I'm really sure everyone's judging me. We've all got that voice inside of us, and we're all dealing with the shit it's dishing out to us. We're too busy to judge you. So just remember that. We're too busy to be judging you all the time because we're trying to fend off self-judgment ourselves. Yay! Our issues are helping you and your issue. And by you and your issue, I mean I deal with it too. So acknowledge that it exists. Separate the truth from the judgments and the value statements. Figure out whether or not those value statements and judgments are true. And then jettison them all together. When you do this, this is really basic. This is me trying to take a decade and a half of experience trying to figure out how to do this and squish it into 10 minutes. It takes time. Recognize that it's going to take time for this. But when you start that process, and every time you have a negative value statement or a judgment that makes you feel like shit, stop and ask, is there something I could change? And then ask, are these judgments, are these values even accurate? Do other people even care? Are they really thinking that? If you want to be brave, go ask them. Hey, did you notice anything weird in this? Did you notice this? Did I come off like an idiot? And they will genuinely tell you, no. I don't even have to know what the situation was. They will genuinely say, no, that actually wasn't on my radar. If you're a musician and you ask, hey, was I flat here? They will say yes, and then they'll say, but the rest of the song was glorious. Or they'll point out 4 other things that you're doing great. That's how people are. When you start this process, it takes a while, but you'll find that that voice, now that you've given it room and you've paid attention to it, it's going to stop being a tyrant, and it's going to start working with you. You're going to get on the same team with it, and then you can enter that place where you recognize the thing that says, it'll say, hey, you just sang a flat note. Hey, you just screwed this aspect up. And instead of going and wasting all of your energy judging yourself and feeling bad for yourself or worrying what other people think, you'll be able to fix it right then and there and make an even better presentation or performance or whatever the heck you're doing just because that voice is there. So it's 3:30 a.m. I hope I don't look like death. I hope that what I just came out of my mouth makes a little bit of sense. And I'd love to hear feedback on whether or not this works. So play around with this. Let me know if it works. If there's something you want clarification on. If there's something that came up that you're like, follow-up question to that. I'd love to play around with the idea. I don't claim to be a guru. I don't claim to be brilliant. But, people post weird things at 3:30 in the morning. I'm one of them. Take care.